Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Canuck Game Reviews video. Get your lunchly, get your prime, because this is going to be a long one. Strap in for this. We are doing Mario theories on a tier list. I guarantee you there are some theories here that you haven't heard of before. So, if you're interested in that, I guarantee you'll have a blast with this one. So, let's just get into it. Super Mario Odyssey comes before Donkey Kong. This theory. It goes that Pauline is still young in Super Mario Odyssey. Donkey Kong is in Super Mario Odyssey in the same general location, the Metro Kingdom, right? And there's absolutely no indication that Donkey Kong had ever kidnapped Pauline in the Super Mario Odyssey events, right? So it's possible that Super Mario Odyssey came before Donkey Kong. Before Super Mario Odyssey, right? There's no indication that Mario knew Pauline either, right? So there's a lot going for it, but there's just no concrete evidence, right? A lack of references to specific characters in a game doesn't say anything, right? So I'm going to say it's plausible, but I don't personally believe it. So it's going in that tier. After that, these secret areas in Super Mario Sunshine were made by Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. will lead you to these areas in Super Mario Sunshine with wooden blocks, train tracks drawn in the background, right? It looks like a 5-year-old made it. Who is the only 5-year-old in the game? At least I think he's 5, right? Bowser Jr., he has a magic paintbrush to paint with anyway. Makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to say that, yeah, I'm a believer, right? It's all but proven. It's just lacking, some character saying, you know, yes, I did this. Yes, I saw this person doing this, right? It's 100% believable. So it's going there. After that, when I said that there will be some theories in here you haven't heard of, this is one of the ones I was thinking of. Mario is a Neanderthal. Mario, look at him. He's short, he's robust, different proportions, right? Bigger head, as opposed to like Peach, Rosalina, Pauline, anybody in New Donk City, right? Those people more resemble us, right, as Homo sapiens, or at least mostly Homo sapiens. Um, Sometimes scientists will like flop back and forth as to whether we're Homo sapiens or a hybrid between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals or whatnot. I personally think we're probably hybrids, probably about 70% Homo sapien, 30% Neanderthal, or somewhere in there. Um, I know my sister personally is 100% Neanderthal. Maybe I'm 100% Neanderthal because I'm speaking like that. But yeah, Mario, shorter, more robust. He's still a human just like the rest of us. Lots of scientists think that Neanderthals were really smart, just as smart as Homo sapiens. So, if he can talk, if he can, be a construction worker, whatever a human needs to do to be smart. Um, yeah, there's no saying that he can't be a Neanderthal. So I'm gonna say that it's definitely plausible, but am I a believer of this one? That's the question. That's a big question. I'm gonna say that I'm a believer of this one. Mario is a Neanderthal. Look at him. You can't tell me that he's not. That's the only explanation as to why every other human is bigger, more proportional than him, right? Um and he's just the odd one out, right? Him and Luigi with goofy proportions. Makes complete sense that they're Neanderthals. So, after that, we got Super Mario Bros. 3 didn't actually happen. Now, the idea behind this is it looks like a play, right? Based off of the first Super Mario Bros. Game. Okay, so why is it a play, right? They have curtains opening at the intro of the game, curtains closing at the conclusion of the game, and there are shadows on the backdrop, right? Now, if we are to assume every single little artistic decision is, part of lore all of a sudden, right? Then we'd have to somehow explain how Mario can't be burned or frozen in space, right? We also have to explain why he can breathe in space, or why he can, be underwater for so long. Like, this I'm gonna say it barely squeaks into plausible because it's just so far out. It's just so far fetched that it looks like a play, yes, but there's just no thing going for me to say that it is, right? Like, you can still lose your lives, you can still, get stomped by a big turtle, right? There's still ghosts in that game, right? And they're not on strings either. They're real ghosts. I don't know what to tell you, it's plausible. There you go. But that's the best you're getting. On the lighter side of things, we have Yoshi eggs are poop. Yoshi eggs are poop. That's the thought process here. We're really going that low today. Now the idea behind this is if you look at bird poop, right? Birds and dinosaurs, obviously are related. Bird poop is white with spots sometimes. Yeah, lots of things are white with spots. Tapioca pudding, for example, is white with spots. Does that mean it's bird poop? No. It's quite good. But it's not bird poop. And then on top of that, you're talking about like millions, hundreds of millions of years of separation between birds and dinosaurs. Do you really think their poop is going to look the same? Like, come on. On top of that, though, for the argument of Yoshi's eggs being poop, we have the fact that Yoshi only lays eggs when he eats. And also, Yoshi's a dude, right? Like, I'm not just tripping. Dudes don't lay eggs. I know I haven't. Um, but yeah, that's a stupid theory. Whoever came up with that, shame on you. It's kind of funny, but stupid. Because what if that food is going to the production of the shell of the egg? Like, you can't just say, oh, the only thing you need food for is pooping, right? Then muscle growth would be poop. Births would be poop. Eggs would be poop. Everything would be poop. That doesn't make sense. Am I making sense right now? Ugh. Anyways, this next theory is a bit of a two-parter, right? It's a long one, right? So the idea is that Egad and the Boos, specifically King Boo, are feuding, right? They have a war going on, right? At the beginning of Luigi's Mansion, right? Egad is there, and he says he's collecting ghosts, but correct me if I'm wrong, he can't use the poltergust. And on top of that, he willingly gives it away to Luigi. And I think this could be a recruit of a soldier, right? And one step further, he may have even leveraged Mario and Luigi's brotherhood to, lure Mario into this mansion and then get Luigi to go there, right? And since he knows, at least Mario is a good um adventurer, a good, you know, defeater of demon turtles. He thought, either Mario or Luigi, maybe they could help me out, right? They could, defeat these ghosts for me. Now, I don't know why some old dude with a vacuum would be fighting a ghost, but that I don't really care. I think I believe this one. Now, as I said, it's a two-parter, right? Um, and I'm gonna talk about the Super Mario Sunshine part of it right now. In Super Mario Sunshine, we see Egad give Mario Flood, right? Or well, Egad isn't, you know, there to hand it to him, but Flood is there, made by Egad, and Mario does come across ghosts in the game. Now, the theory goes that, hey, you know what? Maybe Egad placed some of the Shine Sprites, the collectibles of that game, near Boo's in locations that would cause Mario to fight Boo's. It's possible, right? That's EGAD leveraging again. If EGAD leveraging Mario and Luigi's Brotherhood was true, then why wouldn't he use the motivation of saving an island to also get more Boos attacked, right? That would be the kind of scummy tactics he would use if he would leverage someone's brotherhood, right? I think he could do that. Now, with the Super Mario Sunshine part of this, is he a profiteer? Because we do see Bowser Jr., as I said earlier, has a magic paintbrush that has EGAD's mark on it, right? Professor EGAD seems to have made that, right? He's had presence on Delfino Island before with Flood, so it's possible that he made that paintbrush for Bowser Jr. I don't know why you would ever make a magic paintbrush, when your whole life has been making vacuums to bust ghosts, but I mean, hey, to each his own, right? So, if Mario has Flood and Bowser Jr. has this magic paintbrush, right? He could return a profit from that, maybe. Selling to both sides, right? So, I'm going to say that I also believe in this. I think it's a valid theory. He's a profiteer. That's what he does. Gets people to, buy weapons from him, and he sells to both sides. He's kind of a scummy guy. I think Egad's a scummy dude. Next theory is completely unrelated, but huge theory nonetheless. Mario is Link. This one's huge because if you look at the plots of Mario and The Legend of Zelda, I'll just say them both right now. Courageous adventurer attempts to stop demonic force or dragon kind of force and save a princess. Sounds familiar? That's Mario. That's Legend of Zelda. That's same thing, right? Now, if you look into the individual storylines of each individual game, things change a little bit, but it's possible that Mario is Link. It's even possible that Luigi is supposed to be Link. I mean, if we want to go on the demonic route, it maybe even makes more sense right? If you're a Christian, you believe that any kind of spirit on earth is, I'm not saying this applies to Nintendo games, but you would believe that any kind of spirit on earth is either a demon or an angel, right? And I don't think the Boos are angels. So they're demons, right? If Luigi, who is green themed, wanted to fight a demon, right, and save a princess, in this case Mario, right? Um you could absolutely say that, yeah, you know what? That's Link saving Princess Zelda from Ganon, right? The whole idea of Legend of Zelda is that there's this like reincarnating character almost. I know Ganon reincarnates, but Link and Zelda, different people over the generations, fit into those roles so they can defeat Ganon, right? It's a similar story with Luigi's Mansion. Now, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. It would be easiest to say, Mario is the one who is Link, and then Peach is Zelda, not Mario, and then Bowser is Ganon, right? Um, Now Bowser, you could still say he's a demonic force, right? I mean, he kind of looks demonic. Like, look at him. Not kinda. He is a demon. Of course he's demonic. Look at him. Then, the Boos. I don't know if Bowser commands the Boos. I would assume he does command, like, at least a sizable portion of them, right? And the Boos are probably demons, right? So I'm gonna say, yeah, it's possible for sure that Mario is Link. And if you wanted to say Luigi is Link, you could say that as well. But I'm not a believer because these series, right, they're unrelated. You'll see like references to the other series in given games, but I don't think that qualifies as, oh yeah, definitely we're talking about uh the same series here. No. We're not necessarily talking about the same series. Um there's just not enough going for it. Plausible, but I don't think so. Then we have Mario is not Dr. Mario. Now, the reason a lot of people think this is because, one, they are sometimes seen in the same room, specifically in Super Smash Bros., which is not a reliable source. Um, but yeah, Dr. Mario's heavier and attacks differently and has, harder hitting attacks in that game. That's a load. That's a complete load of crap. Um, because why would you name your kids, two of your kids, Mario? What kind of horrible parent do you have to be to name two of your kids Mario that look the exact same as well? No. Anybody believing in that, like, how about you find something better to believe in, such as yourself? There's your daily motivation today. So yeah. Then we have one from Super Mario Galaxy. Mario and Peach had a daughter named Rosalina. Now, in Super Mario Galaxy, we do see Rosalina sometimes referencing her parents, um, with her father having a brother and her father also having a telescope. Um, Now, I gotta be honest, right? Mario and Peach having a child, I don't think they would do it before marriage. I feel like that's not something these types of people would do. Royal affairs would go, crazy, right? They always do. Royal affairs are a huge thing. I don't think Peach is willing to give up her title or put that in jeopardy because of a royal affair. And then they're also not married. So there's that. The idea was teased in Super Mario Odyssey, but Mario and Peach are not married. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say no. There's no way that they had a child. But what if, since Rosalina revealed at the end of the game that essentially time is an infinite loop and things just keep repeating, kind of validates the Mario is Link theory. What if, perhaps, Rosalina is actually the child of Mario and Peach, just in a different timeline? Because at the end of the game, Super Mario Galaxy, not to spoil anything, but everything just kind of gets sucked up into a big vortex and things get spit out again, and it's as if the universe restarts. But a little bit different each time, as she says. So it's plausible, right? Now, Mario and Peach in the same universe as Rosalina, right? I don't think there was ever any time to do that. But if Rosalina was, from a different universe, a universe before, yes, I think that's possible. Then we have. Now, if you don't believe Mario and Peach had Rosalina, it was Luigi and Peach. Because, as game theory states, the genetics are more similar with the left-handedness, and then on top of that, Luigi having a telescope that he inherited after he defeated King Boo in Luigi's mansion. There was a telescope in that mansion. So, maybe Rosalina's father was Luigi. It's possible, right? But there's no way that that's realistic at all. Like, Mario, like, he's a good dude, but so is Luigi, right? Luigi is not going to do that to his brother, right? Peach isn't going to sacrifice her crown to have an affair with Luigi, right? They're not going to do that to poor Mario. So, there's no way. That's far out nonsense. Sorry, game theory, but your idea is just so bad. I hate it. I despise it. Anyways, after that, we got the Hell Valley Sky Trees are actually Kodama. If you don't know what the Hell Valley Sky Trees are, there's 4 of them. They're in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Oftentimes you can only see 3, but there are 4. And they are these giant shadows that kind of peek over this cliff in one of the levels. Now, a Kodama is a tree spirit in Japanese folklore. And they're these little cutesy spirits that hang around trees. Not really getting that cutesy hanging around trees from Hell Valley Sky Trees. I'm not really getting that. These guys are big, menacing, like they look angry. If you've ever watched Swanky Box, he goes into a deep dive on these characters, and reveals that they're actually like huge, right? It's as if they're part of the Skybox. So they're not little at all. I don't know if that's canonical or not, but they're there. I don't think they're Kodama. I think there's no way, right? Like, these guys are not giving Kodama vibes. These guys are giving like, yeah, I'm gonna break into your house. I'm gonna watch you go home, and then I'm gonna throw a rock through the window, and I'm gonna use the same rock to take you out in your sleep. or in a miserable struggle, right? That's the kind of vibe that these guys are giving. Not cutesy little tree spirits. No. These guys are giving like, yeah, I'm so angry with you right now. You know, I'm going to take your life straight away from you. That's the kind of vibe that these guys are giving. Not really friendly dudes. So that's complete nonsense. They're not Kodama. After that, here's one that you've heard probably a trillion times. The mushrooms are based off of Amanita muscaria, which is a psychedelic mushroom that can make you feel big. I looked into this a little bit, and what I saw was that although Amanita muscaria, and I'm not a healthcare professional or anything like that, so uh, take my words with a grain of salt, but Amanita muscaria just causes spatial distortion, which could be anything. Could make you feel bigger, could also make you feel smaller. You know, could you know, change your depth perception. I don't know. It's just spatial distortion. I feel like people kind of took this spatial distortion side effect and just went with it, right? Like, although maybe you'll feel bigger if you eat this mushroom, right? There's nothing saying that you will. I'm gonna say that it's just nonsense. There's no way that Shigeru Miyamoto is gonna make a kids game about a drug, essentially. No. I think that's garbage. It even conflicts with the theory that I believe in later on. Um, so we'll get to that later. So the next one up on the list that I'm sure you've heard of plenty as well is that Peach has Stockholm syndrome. This is just stupid. Like, how in the world? I mean, there are crazy people out there, but how in the world are you going to feel attracted to, sympathetic for, in any way emotionally intoxicated by a giant lizard that wants you dead and wants to have that same fate for the rest of your entire kingdom? No. You don't want to be kidnapped by a giant turtle. Nobody does. That's not a thing. So this whole idea that Peach has Stockholm syndrome, it's nonsense. There's no way. There's really nothing going for it. So that's far out nonsense. Um, Another thing to do with Peach and Bowser, you know, if Peach constantly gets kidnapped, and this kind of hinges around Peach having Stockholm syndrome, but you know, if Peach is constantly getting kidnapped, maybe there was some time in there to make Bowser Jr. No. Like nothing at all about that makes sense. Bowser is a big evil turtle who's like 10 feet tall, at least, right? He weighs multiple tons. And Peach is a tiny human. There's no way. You're not pushing out a little baby demon turtle like that. You're not. I can't do that. Right? Like, you would be ripped to shreds. So, that's not happening. Um, Now, another case of mistaken identity is Dry Bones, right? Dry Bones is thought of as being a skinless Koopa, right? I'm not going to say dead because clearly it has eyes, right? So, it's either alive or undead, right? It could be its own species for all I know. But that's not what the theory states. The theory states that it's not Koopa, right? It's Yoshi, who's actually Dry Bones. A dead Yoshi is Dry Bones. Now, I don't know what kind of crack you're smoking, That doesn't make sense at all. Because I think this is another game theory one. The game theory, MatPat has come up with some really crazy, silly ones. No offense, but um, some of those theories that just don't make sense at all. Because apparently, when lining up Koopa Troopa's model with Dry Bones' model, Dry Bones' model was bigger, but then when you line up Dry Bones' model with Yoshi's model, it's like the same size or whatever. Like, are we just gonna ignore the beak? Or what? Like, maybe the developers made a mistake. Or an artistic choice, such as in Super Mario Bros. 3. Like, you can't say all of a sudden that, oh, no, it's Yoshi that's Dry Bones. No. Even if you look at their shoes, Dry Bones and Koopa have the same shoes. Like, Yoshi has different shoes. There's like a little notch that's different. But anyways, yeah. Plus the shells, Dry Bones is a deceased Koopa, right? He's not a deceased Yoshi. Come on. But talking about death, we do have a theory. This is really grim about Mario dying in Super Mario Odyssey. Think about it. We see him getting launched into the void by Bowser at the start of the game, right? And he ends up in this like kind of dark, foggy area with all these spirits wandering around. Sounds like the afterlife, maybe, kinda, depending on your interpretation of the afterlife, right? Did Mario die in the events of Super Mario Odyssey? Now, I gotta be honest, I'm not surviving a fall like that, right? We've seen Mario in Super Mario 64 on, I know, completely different mechanics, right? He's taken fall damage from like a 10-foot fall. That's the kind of fall he takes damage from. So when he's launched into the void, yeah, he's he's probably not going to survive that. But at the same time, would Nintendo kill off their biggest characters? No way. I don't think that's happening, right? Some people will say, well, Mario can possess things with Cappy. So, like, a human can't just spin their matter up into, like, this whirl and go inside of a hat and possess things. That's the only reason this is going in the plausible tier. But the way I see it, it's just game mechanics, right? Somebody in the boardroom said, hey, you know what? What if we let players play as enemies? Right? And somebody else was like, yeah, that's a cool idea. And then somebody else was like, okay, let's do it this way. And everybody was in agreement, right? That doesn't mean Mario's a ghost, right? They don't say, yeah, you know what? Let's make Mario a ghost. Let's kill off our biggest character we've ever made in this company at the start of a game. No. So, it barely slides into the plausible tier. Yeah, there's more of a counter argument than an argument for that one. It probably shouldn't even be this high, right? It's less plausible than Super Mario Bros. 3 not actually being real. But anyways, time to move on to the next one. We have the coins being souls. The idea behind this is when enemies die, they can often become coins, right? Especially if you defeat them with a fire flower, right? They become coins. Now, when Mario picks up those coins, if he gets 100 of them, he gets an extra life. So, that's reminiscent of Spelunky, right? You you collect the uh, the blood of your enemies, right, and you gain extra life. That kind of sounds like Spelunky, right? But in this game, in the Mario series, you collect 100 coins, get an extra life, right? It's as if you're exchanging souls. You're exchanging souls for a life, right? Now, I personally don't believe this, right? But I think it's plausible, right? Because, that kind of does make sense. There's a bit of logic there. I mean, it's game mechanics, right? Like, one ups were a thing before there were any kind of ghosts or anything like that in the Mario series. So, maybe not, right? I think it's plausible, but I don't think it's something I believe in. Then here's probably the darkest one of them all. Toad is actually the same as a mushroom. Toad is the same as a mushroom. So all those one-ups, all those power shrooms, all those mega mushrooms, right? Every color, every variation, they're all toads. And I've made this image so that the mushroom kind of lines up with Toad's head. It's not an exact match, but the same pattern on Toad's hat is also on the one-up shroom, the regular red power shroom or whatever you call it, right? It's possible. It's possible. And since that mushroom has eyes, this was the theory that was conflicting with the mushrooms being Amanita muscaria. No, I think they're toads. They're toads. The mushrooms are toads. When you consume a one-up, that is a toad. I don't know what happened to Toad. Maybe he took a trip to France and it was during the time of the revolution. Maybe that's what happened. But I think mushrooms are toads. Just dead toads that you're eating. Really disgusting. But that's not as harrowing as this next theory. This is the last theory. And it is that you need to touch grass. Yes, you, because you have been watching a 30-40 minute video of Mario theories. This one's already proven because of that fact, right? And since you're doing that, go ahead, click off this video right now, and go ahead and touch some grass. Or you can stay to the end of the video, like, subscribe, share with your friend maybe. I don't know, maybe he needs to touch grass. But anyways, that's it. That's all from Canuck Game Reviews. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.